So you have probably seen this woman, Jessi Jean, taking over the internet right now, which if you haven't, I would highly recommend go checking her out. But she recently had a $1.2 million launch after being on this Instagram account. She's been on Instagram for quite some time, but this current Instagram account that she has for only 6 months. And she just kind of pulled the thread and launched something. She thought she was going to have a $100,000 launch and ended up having a $1.2 million launch. And so I've been following her before this whole thing happened, and it wasn't for this, obviously, because it hadn't happened yet. But I started following her because she was someone, when you land on her page, it felt so authentic. It did not feel like a performance. It did not feel like it was pushing. It was not this like brand first kind of energy. It was this woman who she shared her story of having a very successful company for several years and then having a baby. This wasn't like heavily in her story, but she shared this post where then she went through a postpartum season and her business kind of tanked. And then she just kind of went through this whole journey of being career confused and realized like everything in her business felt like force. And so she wanted to come up with something that she could help make extra money for her family because they need a little bit extra income. And she was just sharing what she was doing on social media of making that happen. She was oversharing her finances, furniture flipping, social media, like the buyer psychology, things like that. And she was just kind of sharing what she was learning. Sound familiar? And it just caught me because you don't see a lot of that right now. You see a lot of people that are doing a lot of editing, a lot of show, a lot of staging, a lot of performance. And ever since I've become a mom, it's been really hard for me to show up on social media. And it's been really hard for me to do the whole social media dance. There are things in my business that I have been doing for so long that I don't think I ever really paused long enough to be like, does this actually fit? Or is this something that I picked up in the season of growing my social media account? Because I've been doing this for quite some time, almost 8 years now. Is this something that I picked up because someone somewhere told me this is how it's supposed to go? And then I adopted my own ways of doing these things and then just kept going? Yeah, honestly. That's what I was doing. And so if that is anything like you right now, and you're feeling this, I don't know, this desire to do something different, something has happened in your life, something has shaken you up, something has stirred you awake of just, you want to be more authentic. You want to be paid for who you are. You want to be able to have a normal conversation. You want to be able to record your podcast. You want to be able to show up in your life. You want to be able to talk on camera, write your content, run your business by feeling in alignment to you, then this is the episode for you, because I have been hearing so many of you guys having this type of conversation, specifically you moms. It's this, you've hit a level of success. You've had this level of success and it doesn't feel like you thought it would. And now either you're having more kids or it's your first time having a kid in this like veil. You know, we talked about this in this last episode of what I've been going through. But it's funny, after you obviously pump out a podcast, how many people come forward being like, bitch, me too. Me fucking too. Like, this is the exact thing that you've been navigating. And so what I want to talk about is how you've probably been doing everything right, but has it actually been yours? Because I don't think we pause enough in our career to let that question come through. And maybe you do and you guys are better than me. Who the fuck knows? But I haven't. I have not. I have been in so many iterations of my business. It has started with me being first just health coaching and jumping in that bandwagon and trying to save my own fucking life and sharing what I was doing in the process of that. And then getting into trauma and how trauma was compounding a bunch of the health stuff I was going through and all of the things. And then that led itself to relationships. And then that led itself to prepping your business or motherhood. Then that led itself to actually being the matriarch in motherhood. And then I was sitting here going, oh my God, why does this feel like so much resistance? Why does it feel like this is a thing I love? You could not pay me not to show up and do social media. Like, I'm obsessed with sharing and teaching. It's like in my blood of to document what I go through and to share what I go through and my lessons and my failures and my artistry and creating these types of, I don't know, pieces. I want to just change the world. And I think social media is the coolest fucking thing on the planet when used right. But I noticed in my own journey, and I will fully fucking admit this, that I was just doing things because somewhere along the line, I don't even know who it was, but someone said, this is how it works. This is how you're supposed to do it. And when you're figuring things out, you just go, okay, I guess that's it. Like, I like your vibe. I like this kind of way that you're going, and I like these types of things. And true leadership is when you sit and you're like, okay, but like, what works for me? And that's what I've done. I've had my own spin-off of things. Obviously you have your own school of life, but there's this point of success, because there is a season where if you're learning, and like, especially if you haven't even made like $10,000 a month yet, like there's this season that you are testing stuff, that you are going about stuff because you haven't even learned how to necessarily market or sell or make money yet. But then you make money, and you make really good money. And you start to think about, well, what does success look like? Like, how do I actually want this to work? Because it's not about the money anymore. It's about how fulfilled do I feel in my life, and how am I going to make all of this work? And what is this current season calling of me? And I know a lot of the moms in my audience, you guys are thinking this right now. I'm seeing so many of you guys are talking to me about this, where it's this rest season of really looking at what this next chapter is going to look like, because you're not afraid anymore. It's not this like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know how to make money and someone fucking tell me what the hell's going on. Like, it's no longer that. There's this new sense of reassurance you have, where you know how to do the foundations. You know how to do what is required, because the foundations never really change, but how you want to do it and how you want to make money. Like, I was watching one woman talking about this, where she's just firing all of her support, and like, there's no office during the week. Like, she's not going to be in her office. There's no Zoom calls. There's no any of this, because she just wants to be with her kids and she wants to raise them and be on the farm. You know, there's a bunch of people that are around me. There's a bunch of clients where it's just like, I want to go on a sabbatical. I want to travel. I want to enjoy the summer, but I'm the maid breadwinner. Like, how do I do these things? And that's this huge wave coming. And I truly believe this huge wave is happening right now, because we were the first iteration of humans that were making money online. We're millennials. We were the first ones that had social media and all of the things. Like, this is our life. We were birthed into it. We were the ones that, we didn't have it when we were kids. And then we built it in this time frame, in this lifeline. And then in our 20s, it was this big season of, how do I make money using this? How do I show up? And this is when the coaching boom popped off, and social media, influencer marketing, and all of the things that a lot of us have made a lot of money did in our 20s. And you have no idea that, you know, you're going to have the thing, and then all of a sudden you have the thing, and then you have kids, and then you have a family, and you have a household, and you're like, oh, okay. Now what? Because we haven't been here before. We haven't been in a season where it's mommy's money. We haven't been in a season. It's always been the husband going to war and building the household and doing the things. And now it's all of a sudden mommy. It's mommy's money. And it's mommy building things. And also mommy wants to be mommy. And you know, that human desire and that feminine nurturing side of us that wants to be home, that wants to take care of the home, that wants to take care of the family, that just like melts when your husband's in the room, that like you forget your brain cells. And like, then there's this split energy piece of, oh, but I have to go do these things because I have to provide, and I have to I have to serve everyone, and I have to give. And so there's all of these different areas you have to give. And there's all of these different areas you have to stretch yourself. And there's all of these different ways that you were able to do before you had all of these other responsibilities. And I know I cannot be the only one that feels this way. And so you're sitting here going, okay, this works and I love it. We talked about this last time. It's not dissing the version of you that got here, because it's not burnout. Like, you guys aren't feeling burnout. I'm not feeling burnt out. That's not what it is. It's just something wants to come through. And in order for that thing to come through, you have to shut the fuck up and be quiet. You can't keep doing the same thing expecting a different result. And I recognize for myself, that is really what was happening with me. Is like, okay, I know something is itching at my soul. I want something new to come in. I've been saying this for like a year now. And it's like, oh, something new is coming, and I can feel something birthing through me and something wanting to move through me. With what space would I have allowed that to come through? Because I was still doing the reps in the way that I knew how to do the reps. You do the masterclass, you launch the thing, you show on social media. And by the way, my clients that are going through this right now, we're in very different stages, so I just want to say that. But you're doing the masterclass, you're doing the things, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm doing rinse and repeat, and the annoying thing is it's fucking working. That's the annoying fucking thing. And then you have to be the leader and going, wait a second, like if I want something new to come through, I have to shut up and sit down for a second. And so do you. That's the hardest part of success. For the next iteration to come through, you have to sit down. You have to get quiet. You have to stop doing the same thing and expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. But it's so hard. It is so hard. So if you're in that season, you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, but I am the breadwinner and I provide for this family and I do all these things. How do I breathe? Something I'm telling myself is I can always go back to what was, because that is easy. That prints money. I could do that with my eyes closed. But what I learned from Jessi Jean and what I'm seeing in Jessi Jean, which I'm very curious how she's going to go like in this next iteration, because it is a lot of work, the season that she's in right now. It's a lot of visibility. And so I wonder how this is going to shift or change or what's going to happen next. But what I saw from her is her through line was joy. Her through line was just, I'm going to do a whole bunch of things. Her baseline was to make like $4,000 a month, and she was just going to have fun with it, just to get some extra money coming in. And some people, I get this is different, because when you have a husband that's supporting you or you have a partner that also is making money, it's very different than, say, single moms or solo parenting. And so it's a different story sometimes, but her through line was how much joy. Like, I'm just going to follow the thread of joy and what's fun for me. And her baseline, it wasn't how much money she was making. It wasn't how many likes or shares or whatever. It was just showing up consistently, because that was something that she could control. And I fucking love that. I love that it's about joy and it's about consistency, because you can't control how the algorithm pumps things out or how things, whatever. But if you're looking to enjoy perfecting a skill, which for her it was yapping on camera, you can't really go wrong. Versus, are you just doing reps because someone told you this is the way and you're in survival mode, and so you're going to do anything in order to make it work? And then all of a sudden you keep fucking doing that. Because that's how it was for me. It's like, I'm looking at my business and I'm like, oh, I will fully admit this, and I have had several podcast episodes about this. My first business, I started out of survival. I started my first business because I was trying to get out of a domestically violent relationship and drugs and alcohol and all the kind of things that I was hooked on. And I was like, oh, business. And then I just got addicted to money and business. And so I fully know that business was straight survival and doing anything, and got insanely burnt out and sick from building that company. But I recognized some of that patterns and the things that I learned, because they were in the beginning stages. They stick with you, but they weren't actually reassessed now in this stage of life. And when you get everything you want in life, I think that's kind of a question a lot of us are having now of like, okay, I spent my 20s building this thing and I've gotten everything I've wanted, from the money to the man to the baby to the things to the body. Like, I have that. So what does the next level of success look like? Because at least for me right now, it is not a book and speaking on stages. Oh my God. It is not traveling. It is being home with my baby. It is learning to be a really good cook, so like he keeps coming home for the rest of his life, because I'm not the best cook. And who wants to come home to mom's house if she's not a good cook? You know what I mean? Like, he needs reason to come to our house, not his future wife's. So I want to provide that. And there's just things, right, that I'm thinking of that go beyond just making money and go beyond just needing to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Although if that were to be the case, I'm not going to deny it, but I'm not going to build something that the next stages, like the way my business was going, it's like the next stages of that is pulling me away from the type of mom I want to be and the type of life for this chapter that I want. Ooh, that feels like in my body. But it's true. Because some people, like, they don't desire to be the stay-at-home mom. They don't desire any of that. But like it's like this competition in my soul of like money and Luca. And I don't want that to be the thing. I want Luca to make me more money. It sounds like I'm pimping him out. But like, the more of a mom I am, the more money I make. And that's the current season that I'm slowing down enough to see, like, this is the first time in a long time that I just like didn't post over the weekend because there was a wedding in my family and I just wanted to chill and I wanted to hang out. And then I come back online and someone's buying programs and they're going through like literally everything and like buying things and just going through like multiple people. And I'm like, oh, this is fun. And then I go on my account and it's like, you can't send links for till July 6th. And I'm like, yeah, I've been seeing that go around. I kind of figured that was going to happen. And my soul's not like freaking out. Like, I'm not worried because that's not the main thing right now, which feels, I get that that's a luxury to be able to say that, but like to be able to see all of these things kind of orchestrating and working right now and just going, okay, I get to really focus on how I want to make money and like how I want my life to look and what, like my therapist asked me that and I was like, I don't know. I don't really have hobbies. Like I make money and I take care of my son. I don't know. And it's this fun conversation to start having. It's unsettling because if you're anything like me, you spend a lot of chunk of time building something and it's like the veil is kind of ripped off and you're just like, okay, I guess this is what we're doing now. But how do I explain the feeling? Because you're probably having it. It's like the itch inside your soul that you're doing it and things are working. And sometimes you get this high and you're like, oh, this is great. Like, yes, baby, I'm back. But then you come back down and you're like, oh my God, there's something else that's just really trying to come through. But where the fuck am I going to find time to actually quiet the noise to actually make that happen? And you have to intentionally build that, which means you have to intentionally eliminate things and like really set boundaries in place and set systems in place and organize your life and eliminate a lot of fucking things. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm really doing this. And you have no idea what's on the other side. That's the annoying part of success is like, the rinse and repeat model of making money. The rinse and repeat model of doing the things that work. And you have no idea what's on the other side of figuring out the new way. No fucking clue. I have no clue what the outcome is. I know it's obviously going to be better because energy flows where energy flows. And if something didn't work, it didn't work. But like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how much that looks like. I don't know what energy that looks like. I just know what I can bring and I know what's within my control, just like Jessi Jean, repetition and joy and like tuning into, is this still making me feel alive and powerful? And like, yes, there's going to be growing curves, but like, is that a joyful thing? Because at the end of the day, this is the one life I have. And everything I feel, my son feels, and everything that I feel is his childhood. And so I really want to orchestrate this. And sounds like a lot of pressure now that I'm saying it out loud, but like, I really want to orchestrate this the best way I can for this really limited time window. And it sounds like a lot of you feel this way too, but you're stuck in the motions, in this fear state of like, yeah, but this is the way it works. And then we scroll our phones and we start comparing. And it's like, you're looking at all these people saying, this is how you do it. And this is how you write your hook. And this is how you talk on camera. And this is how you do things. And it's like, the reason you're jiving on about all of those people having success doing that is because of the joy that they have in that, because of the consistency that they've had to learn that skill that is now giving you that type of energetic blueprint on your soul that you're like, this person is successful and they must know what the fuck they're talking about. They might not. They might not. And it might just work for them because they paused long enough to figure out what's going to work for them. Honestly, I saw this on Matthew Hussey's page too. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm thinking about all the posts that I've seen, all the clients I've talked to, all the people that I've talked about in my own pure mastermind, inside my masterminds that are going through the same fucking feeling. And I'm just thinking now of Matthew Hussey being like, hey, when I thought I was a dad, like all these things, go look at his post. But it's all about this too, of just like, oh, prioritization and like what actually brings me joy and not stretching yourself too thin, and the core focus being like family man right now and being really strong in what you say no to in order to make that happen. It's like, yeah, we're like the first wave of parents from being on social media for this long. Not that we're the first wave of parents, but like millennials, we grew up with social media. We grew up in this whole making money online. Like this is how a lot of us promoted and built our companies and did our stuff. And so it makes sense now that we're stepping into this iteration of, babies, that we're all fucking confused. I know I am. And it's so funny because it doesn't take away from the certainty of like, well, obviously it's going to work out. And obviously things are going to sort themselves out, and things are sorted. Like I understand the privilege it is to be in this position, and I don't want to undermine that by any means of being able to sort it out. But like, I still have to provide for my family. I still have to do, it's on me. It's just me, you know, like I have to do that. So it's weird. Like I should be nervous. I should be sweating more than I am in this very hot room right now. But it's really having me think in this season of just like what actually brings me joy. And I want to pass that baton back to you, or pass that light to you, of just like, are the things you're doing right now really bringing you joy? And I'm not to say that they're not hard. Like doing anything in life where you are making money and you are putting yourself out there and you are being seen and you are trying something, that'll always be fucking hard. Especially as a mom, especially as someone that wants to be hot, especially as someone that wants to make a shit ton of money. Like, it's gonna be fucking hard. I think you know that, and I think you love that about the game, like me. But you should still have joy. You should still like get very excited that this is what you're doing every day, and like this is what you get to do. You know, I think a lot of you forget you're the CEO. I know I have. And you get to be the thermostat of how things are working and how things are not. And you get to create the company culture that you work in. I don't know. I feel like you just need to be reminded of that today. Like you get to decide that. You get to make a new company culture that you're excited to show up to. Do you want to have PJ Fridays? Do you want to fucking have a glass of wine in the middle of the fucking day because you want to? Or you take the call by the pool? Or eliminate all fucking Zoom calls and you take it from Telegram? That's what I did. So that I can just walk and do things. So I can take you by the pool. So I can do it while my kid wants to fucking do whatever he wants to do. Like, it's like you can create it how you want to create it, because it's going to adapt, because there's people like you that want to learn. Like, it doesn't, they want to learn what you're doing. It doesn't take away from your genius just because you're shifting the model and the package of which is being delivered. But you have to pause enough, and you have to take the risk enough. You have to have the courage enough to say, this is feeling like it's like a lot of resistance. This is what's so nice when you know your human design. I'm a projector. So if something starts to make me feel very bitter, and I'm like a little bitter brat, I'm not in alignment. So I go, ooh. When something feels like success and it feels flowy, that's when I'm in alignment. That's human design for projectors. And so now when I'm in this space of like being like, I don't know, I'm just fucking around and showing up and being honest and not trying to posture and like say I have it all figured out, but just being like, yo, I'm in the arena with you. I have no fucking clue. I'm just risking it for the biscuit because this feels so much more fun, and this feels like success, and this feels like the energy of which I want to live in, and the memories of which I'm making in my life, and, you know, all of the things. Like, this feels like the way. So fuck yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And so it's sitting there going, okay, if you are following the same thing every fucking quarter, I'm not just like, I do want to say, because when you try something new, you need to stick fucking to it. Do you know how much inside my soul's being like, go back to the plan? We're like, no, we're sticking to the plan of not having a plan, but still kind of having a plan. I don't fucking know. It's like the soul. And so you do have to stick to the plan. But if it feels like for years that you've been doing the same fucking thing, and that recently a veil has been uplifted and something has shifted, and you're just following this blueprint because it's supposed to work, but like it's not working like it once did, check in with your energy why that is. It's not just about hitting the goal anymore. You hit the goal. You surpassed the goal. You fucking nailed it. Right? The answer isn't just a better strategy. It's doing exactly what we saw Jessi Jean doing, where it's just following the thread, going, oh, this is what I want to do. I'm going to go try this, and I'm going to do this. And I'm like, people love to be on the journey with you. Stop fucking hiding that you're not perfect. But like, you're going to just follow the thread of joy. Follow the thread of rediscovering who you are. If you've been doing the same thing for like a decade, like Patricia Martin, it's time to switch up the plan. Yes, we're creatures of habit. But there's just so much, like in this last month, holy shit, there's just been so much to experience and see and love and grow, and like breaking every rule, not every rule, that's dramatic, but breaking a lot of the rules to just breathe and then see what comes up, and the things that are already happening in my life. Like it's already a very large month, and it's like, let's see, the 7th. I have like 3x my income. It's funny how this stuff works, but you have to trust your intuition. That was a horrible transition there, but like being able to sit and go, hey, something doesn't feel right. And trusting that. Not for you guys that quit on everything. I'm not talking to you guys. You guys need to learn to stay committed. I'm talking to you who you feel like you've been kind of beating a dead horse because of the responsibility and the weight on your shoulders. Because you've done really big things and you've achieved really big things, and a lot of people rely on you. But that zest for life, that excitement, that hunger, that turn on, like being horny for your work, like that thing is kind of fucking gone. And the idea of doing the launch and doing the things that you know work, and even creating that certain type of content, like you're just like, I can't, or having the same conversations or being in the rooms, you're like, I literally can't have this conversation anymore. You guys are stuck in this bubble. Like that feeling, follow that. Unplug for a second. You know that whole like internet thing where it's like, have you unplugged it for 5 seconds and then plugged it back in? However long the time is. It's the same thing with your fucking life. You've been doing this for so long that trust yourself. You can always go back. You can always plug it back in, but just unplug for a second and see what happens. Because I'm in the middle of it and I'm having a great fucking time. Not to say I'm not, being human, but it is freer. It's like I was talking to my friend about it the other day. I'm like, I just feel free. For the first time in a very long time, I just feel free, and it feels really good. And I want that for you guys. And you particularly, Missy May, who's been hanging on by a thread, but doing all the things because she's doing all the things, and you keep sitting there being like, I'm fine, everything's perfect, like this is working, I'm hitting all these numbers, and then inside your soul, you're like, I just kind of want to burn it to the fucking ground. Yeah, you. Don't burn it to the ground. Unnecessary. But pause for a second and recognize, have you been following something for so long that you actually haven't given it air to figure out what actually works for you? And if this thing, just because it works, does it work for the life that you want to now have, especially as a mom? So this is your permission slip to fuck around and find out. Okay? All right, my loves, I love you so much. Make sure that you are subscribed to this podcast. This is how I continually show up here, give awesome little mini masterclasses. And also, we're going to be going on this fun little podcast tour soon. And this is how I'm going to get incredible guests on. So the more you subscribe, the more you write your reviews, the better guests we get. So if there's people that you want to suggest, send them to my DMs over on Instagram. It's ITS Laura Patricia Martin. So it's Laura Patricia Martin. But you make that happen through your subscriptions, hitting that little subscribe button, and writing your reviews. So thank you so much for that. And then I will see you in the next episode. Okay. Love you. Bye.